Welcome to Dmitri's door. Thank you for stepping in. I hope you take a comfortable position, breathe in, breathe out, take a cup of tea, and join in, where we will explore the root of freedom, fear, desire, creativity, entrepreneurship, and what it all means. You won't be given answers, but rather questions that help you find your own. And to do that most effectively, we ask you to listen to episode 1, which has a lot more on how to do it just right. And now, let's get into today's episode. This is episode 2 of Dmitri's Door, very much the launch episode for the podcast. And the very first guest is none other than Jerax. For those of you that don't follow professional esports, he is a world-renowned Dota 2 player who managed to help his team OG win the international 2 years in a row. It's a feat never repeated. They secured millions in prize money, but that's not the most important thing in our dialogue. In this episode, we talk about what it takes to perform at the highest level in the world. Not just in games, sports, but life in general. We dive into topics like authentic motivation, flow states, emotional intelligence in teams, and how trusting your inner compass is key to success. And what strikes me the most in talking to Jerax is that none of it comes from external motivation. So if you want to find out what got Jerax to the top in the world, tune in, strap in, get ready, and imagine that you're joining us for a walk in the Finnish forests, which is exactly what we were doing as we were recording this episode. Join us and let's have a dialogue together. And as always, with Dmitri's Door, the point is not to just listen to us, but to listen to yourself and see what comes up for you in your life as you join us in conversation. Enjoy. Well, that's life for us, isn't it?
It seems to be that way. Let me check which way, because I usually go one way and I don't like it for some reason.
Let's go the way you like.
Yeah. Usually I go somewhere too early to the left and I don't know. Like sometimes you don't like places for some reason, even though it's like totally normal place.
I feel that people kind of resonate with different places.
Yep.
And even like cities, like some people really like certain locations in cities and others don't, and it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, it's like I like this New York type. I love New York. Then I'm like, how?
Yeah.
How do you
like New York? Yeah.
I've never even been there.
Yeah.
I just look at it and I'm like,
yeah.
My heart rate starts to go up.
Right. London, New York. I feel like I can be in London for about a week.
Yeah, and then you're exhausted.
And then it's worse than a...
Let's book the next retreat.
Yeah, it's like all my serotonin, everything is like, I'm burned.
Yeah.
I went to Vipassana, and then when I came back, first day in London, I just felt like all the noise and the vibrations were attacking me so much that I could not at all be there. There's so much noise, so many vibrations. I don't know how people do it, you know? But some people are okay with it. And I believe some people are really okay with it. And a lot of them are lying to themselves.
I think some people are just more sensitive to the sensory inputs in a way that it disrupts them. Some people like the sensory inputs in those environments and it like boosts them to the... It's almost like they crave for that activity or the energy to raise it up for themselves. I think a lot of very extroverted people have a tendency to like those because then they get to their normal where it's like high activity, high energy. Somehow, I think some people just like that.
I guess maybe it has to be at your resonance, like where you are, and the place where you're staying should be at that same frequency, if we use that word.
I'm thinking like, okay, you're some pretty primitive caveman. That's our biology, genetics, whatever.
Yeah.
Is there really that kind of thing? At those old times, is it more like you just get a dopamine? It's like a dopamine-oriented environment for them. It's like a small party in a way that you go there and you see all kinds of things. It's like playing a video game that's just a ton of things thrown at you.
Yep.
And then it's like a very overwhelming thing. You sort of lose yourself and there's everything's going on. And like that chaos is something they enjoy, to like be there.
I guess maybe like with cavemen, it was more like not so much about the environment, but maybe the change of activity. Like if you're not hunting, then you're more in this calm zone. But then we're in the moment of survival and hunt, then you go to that dopamine.
Yeah, I think
And
maybe it's that one.
And then you're acting out and you have to survive and fight a lion or whatever.
Maybe it's like craving for those kind of environments where it's like high alert, things are going on around you and you're sort of trying to manage through that. Because I've had that. Why I used to like video games is like I like to being put into those environments when I know what I'm supposed to do. In a way, you get used to it and you sort of manage your way out of it. And it's a cool feeling, but I just don't see it in like New York. I don't get the same. I just hear noise and people going around. I can imagine myself there and then it's like, what am I doing there? I'm just walking on the street to a store.
But was it the same for you with Dota and video games, in the sense that if you are participating in doing a tournament or something, that you have all these dopamine?
Yeah.
Did you feel depleted afterwards? Did you have to recharge? Or...
Yeah, I think so. I think tournaments are a little different because the fun of the game starts to decrease, but the challenge of the game starts to increase. And you feel there's like more on the line. It feels like you're clearly working towards something. And I think it's just a different kind of dopamine than the regular day. You know, you play video games, sure you do it as your profession. It's still enjoyable. At the same time, you know, you feel good just playing. But when you're in tournaments, it changes. It becomes more serious, more, okay, there's a challenge. This is what I'm getting ready for. And now it's time to perform. When it's happening, it's like more adrenaline. Now we need to get stuff done.
Does the seriousness of it make it harder or easier to actually perform?
Easier for me. I think it's different for people. How I understand it is, what's your relation to the competition? Basically, are you okay with the feeling of, okay, now it's high pressure? Because I think some people are not ready. They may not say it out loud, but it's pretty clear to me that that's often the case for some, because they are not confident or they think, okay, past 2 months my team has been doing pretty bad, it's gonna happen again, whatever. And especially not in the beginning of the tournament, but in the whatever group stage, and you have played, let's say, 6 matches of anything, and maybe you lost half, maybe you lost one half. You don't really know where it's going, and that concerns you. Some people may twist it.
This looks like the middle of the forest to me, so I don't know where I'm going. I have a direct built-in sense of a compass.
Yeah.
So know where we are.
Okay.
And have a sense of a general direction in terms of where towards we should be heading.
Do you see like a map?
No, it's a complete sense. It's just as if there's like a compass arrow pointing, like home is that way. And it's interesting, I feel like some people don't have it at all.
Yeah.
Like my really good friend I spoke to yesterday, he doesn't have it. He was born in the city, he never spent time outdoors. So like when I ask him like where's home, he has no idea in the forest. But if I'm in the forest, I know always the direction. And it's kind of built in. I don't have to try, I don't have to think.
Yeah,
so
got
like,
it.
if I'm in a forest, I'm totally calm. I don't go like, oh, I'm lost.
Right,
Like, I don't think that can happen to me. Unless maybe you parachute me in.
Yeah. I think then it's probably very hard for you.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have that compass and then you...
I don't know, I might. I need to experiment. Blindfolded, parachute me in.
But if you keep spinning, you maybe lose your thought for a while. It doesn't get mixed up sometimes?
I don't know. Spinning? I don't think so. I think after some time I'll start feeling it again. But maybe I need to walk for a little bit.
Okay.
And then suddenly go, okay, I feel it again. And I think like we have all these senses. You can spin me as many times as you want.
Yeah.
But the sun is still here.
Yep.
Right? So it's this experiment they did with bees also, where they put bees into a cave and they could still sense the sense of time. And I think they were able eventually to get bees off the standard time, but it was not that easy.
I have a sense of a map. Like I visualize a map. Okay, I'm walking here right now, and then I just see mini Google Maps. Not that I see it, but I get a feel for it. I move this direction, especially in places that I know. It's like a much more vivid. And then I have a sense of like, I went here, maybe I should go right, left, forward, wherever I want to go. Whereas I don't have a sense of, I look at the map in a way that it's north, south, east, west, it's just like normal. But I don't have a sense where my home is necessarily, but I have a sense of like, okay, this is the map, I went here about this much, and now I'm probably here. Like estimation.
I think that's weird. Weird in a beautiful sense. I think we as a society, or as people, we're kind of like computer game characters with different skills and abilities and ability trees, but we haven't mapped them at all. Some people have this ability like me, like I have a compass. You have a map.
Yeah.
I know people who have synesthesia where they basically are unable to imagine anything.
Yeah.
But then there are other people who can, for example, see sounds. And
yeah,
so they're
like in colors.
in colors and
Right,
everything.
yeah.
So we have this whole variety of skills and abilities that we don't really talk about or actually map, and we don't know. Or I have discovered, for instance, that I can sense the overall energy in a room, like the mood, like the average mood
Yeah.
of the room. I can sense it. There's nothing I can do about it. It's there, but this is not something I learned in school.
Yeah.
I feel like they are superpowers, and these superpowers allow us to actually interact. And the interesting thing about these superpowers is it's very, very hard for you as an individual to discover them, because you go through life assuming that everybody has the same thing you have.
And then there's things you learn. You go to summer camp, somebody knows how to cut the wood, and then you're like, oh yeah, how do I learn this? And then you learn it, and then you're like, okay, I got this power.
Yeah.
But it's not like an innate. You learn things, but there is something of innate kind, and then you just have a sense of like, this is how it works. For me, I seem to know how to do it. And then you have the arena in the room.
What are your innates that you have discovered so far?
So far, I clearly have a inclination towards what's good for me. There's a stronger sense. I don't call this intuition. I think it's different. It's like a deeper sense of intuition. So my understanding of intuition is that intuition is built over a long time, where you build your sense of like, okay, this is how the world works. I did this, and then this happened in the world. Now you're building the intuition like through repetition. I think there is an alternative. It's like a connection to things. For example, games have that for me. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, it's fun to play games. Clearly there is more going on here than me just having fun with the game.
Can you explain it more? Is it like a feeling inside your body? Is it a sensation? Is it a logical or a feeling based?
Definitely not logical. I don't know if it's even feeling. It's like a knowing. It's like a tricky thing where as soon as you say, is it a feeling thing? I have the intuition to say that it's a feeling thing, because I think the feeling is connected to it, because when you approach it, then you get the feeling.
And by feeling, do you mean like a physical sensation in the body, or do you mean like just some sort of...
Both. I think it's like mind and body. But I think the knowing is behind. It's like a level above. That's how I understand it. I don't know if it's the case. I haven't really looked into it. But it's certainly something I'm more and more curious about. But this is sort of who I am. Like this interaction with these things clearly speaks for me more than many other things. And I think that's superpower. Many have that though. But there are things in this world that clearly speak for me louder. And if I catch it and I interact with it, it's like, let's say it's soccer and ice hockey, and soccer is the one speaking for me. There's clearly something more happening to me when I play soccer, even though I liked ice hockey. But like, there's just more to it.
And how did that work for you in your gaming career? And did it change? Because I assume this kind of feeling is not there forever.
No, it changes. It's almost like you interact, and then the knowing goes to okay, this is cool thing about this game, and then you're like, oh yeah, but this other game too. It seems to be like a larger concept, and then it's showing a direction to go towards, and then you interact with that, and then there's the next thing. I clearly remember in my childhood, I think it was like, I just got very interested in finding new ways around the game. and trying to puzzle solve and try to be creative with it, like an artist painting. I think of this part of me knowing this is like wanting to be creative with the game through problem solving. Finding new ways to problem solve within the game and trying to interact in new ways, building something new. But there's something, that's what I'm like very interested in with this. I think once you get a sense of that, you come up with some new way, you get some new thought, then you're like, oh yeah, this is what I can do in this game, and then you make it work. That's a very satisfying feeling. But it's never an end point. It's never like I have a goal and I'm working towards and now it's done. But it's more like, oh, I got this now, but I have all these other things that I'm also interested in, and it keeps guiding me to the next.
So you would say it's like a daily process? Or is it more like long-term feeling?
I think it's just a constant.
But you must trust it, right? Because I think a lot of people might have a gut feeling, hey, I should play ice hockey, like you said. But they go like, oh,
yeah, it's
no,
like a logical mind comes to...
But like, there's more money in football.
Yeah,
and my parents told me to do football. Or like, there's more money in Dota 2, but I like Counter-Strike.
So my understanding is somehow this is a stronger pull for me than many others. Somehow I get a grasp of it and I don't know how to go the other way. Like in a way I'm stupid in this physical world where even though there is more money to the other thing, it doesn't motivate me at all. External motivation doesn't beat the internal motivation at all. This has been such a hard thing for me in this field because somehow I keep playing these games and I get these feelings that people think that I'm just wasting my time. But I'm having a good time. But I'm very sensitive to like other people, I used to be at least very, very sensitive. I was trying to predict what do other people think of me, and that was really impacting me because I got the sense that people have think that I'm wasting my time, and I'm also thinking, okay, they must be right. In a way, they're right, because I'm playing just this video game over and over again. It's not getting me anywhere. There's no path. As in, it's gonna become money. At that time, there was nothing. There's some tournaments, maybe you're good at the game, maybe you compete, whatever. But there's no clear input to how this will affect the real life. What are the consequences? Is it going to bring me anything good? And in a way, logically thinking, made no sense what I was doing. I was just basically wasting my time.
But I think you had this innate ability to trust your ability to waste time.
In a way, like I didn't think of it. I didn't have these thoughts of like, okay, how is this gonna help me build career in this life? How is this gonna help me build like education? But I like the rewards in this real life. They didn't motivate me for some reason, wanting to be there with the game.
But I think there must be a crucial difference there, and I think, let me try to phrase it and you tell me if that sounds about right. But my feeling is that there are two modes in some sense, right? So I know for a fact that when I played computer games, I played Counter-Strike and played many other games, and in some of those moments, I feel that I was really listening to my inner self. And in some of them, I was really procrastinating and killing my time.
Yeah.
And I guess the difference, based on what you said, is that in one, you are creative, like you're trying to find these ways and you're resonating with your inner desire to be creative. And in the other, you like almost go into robot mode and you don't even know that you spent 10 hours. Like, you know, there's a lot of people who play chess or Dota or whatever, and they never improve because, well, they never change anything. They're just like a game after game after game after game, and therefore you're not connecting to this desire to experiment, to create, to change, to practice, because that's not the interesting part for you. The interesting part for you is just to get the dopamine hit.
Yeah.
And you don't care actually about the game.
Yes.
Or being interested about the actual concept of the game.
Yeah, I catch that, and I was certainly doing both of those. I was certainly guilty of escaping whatever I was going through. There was a lot of suffering. It felt good to go somewhere so I don't have to be with that. And sometimes it's procrastination, as in I don't want to do my schoolwork, this. And then other times it's I have difficult emotions. I just want to get rid of them. Why not just play video games? So I think that was certainly like a healthy relationship, as in I was self-expressing there. I was deeply curious of where it's going to take me, but then there's like the unhealthy interaction where I didn't understand the deep. I really loved being there playing the games, but there's a limit And I didn't understand when it turned into this procrastination, just like looking for dopamine and doing it to avoid things in life in general. The thing that I was very passionate about, it consumed me because I didn't understand when it's enough. When does it turn into, okay, now I'm escaping my life, my feelings, how do I now sit with those because those seem to be relevant? I did not have that. I just kept playing the game because initially it felt very good.
Yeah.
I was very happy, I was doing things. It was great.
I mean, the games are designed to make you feel good, right? I mean, they're designed by professionals.
Yeah, but also in a deep level. Not just the entertainment. Back then, for sure, at that age, that was the part where I knew I was doing something wrong.
Yep.
And when people spoke about wasting time playing video games, that was certainly the time I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm actually doing that.
Yep.
But there was also more to it. So somehow, for me, the more to it, that there is more to the video games, was the thing that kept me going. But for I know many people who had this like deep curiosity for the game and they're really pushing themselves.
Right.
They're figuring things out. They're like very, very involved. Not just wasting their time there to have fun, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think many people looked away from that and they just went, okay, I think I'm done with video games. I think this is not good for me. I'm gonna go study. And then they just stop playing video games. They play very rarely. And then they're just like, this is in the way of me moving forward in life.
I think it's about like really trusting your inner self and asking yourself questions. Like for me, it's not video games right now, but it is, say, tea ceremonies. So I do tea ceremonies for people. But then there are people like my mom who would be like, that's pointless. Like,
if you logically think about it, you have people like sitting in a room, everybody's coming there, they pay money for that. Like, what the fuck? Well, you can just have tea at home. What's the point?
Yeah, and she goes like, you went to one of the best universities, your education costs this much, this much. How much can you make with tea? You cannot make anything, logically speaking, with tea. But I trust it. I've done things that thanks to the journey of tea, that would not have been ever possible without it. Just because I have a passion for tea, I spoke to one guy 2 years ago. We were just talking about business. We had a simple business call. And then suddenly, I don't remember why, but I mentioned I like tea ceremonies. And he goes, hey man, I'm having this secret invite-only conference in the most expensive hotel in Switzerland with the CTO of GitHub and like top level people. There's only a couple hundred people. Can you come host the tea ceremony there?
Okay.
I'll pay for your flights, accommodation, and the event is for free. It's a really cool event. It's made by the guys from Tito, the event company. Just because the hotel is so expensive, it's like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, I don't remember how much it is. And I got to go there because I have a hobby for tea, and you cannot predict those things. And I feel like sometimes by trusting yourself, you have to let go of the expectations of results, and they kind of just happen to you. And I want to ask you about this, because I think very often when people put a goal, sometimes they make themselves go further away from it. Like, I don't know, I want to be a TI champion twice, right? Yeah. I feel like if you put it on a wall, you might actually take a step away from the goal. What do you think?
Most definitely. If it's a very prestigious goal, like you gotta really work for years for this. Let's say if you're just starting Dota and you set this goal of like, I'm gonna be the world champion. How do you even know what that path looks like? How would you ever know? Like you have a sense of it, okay, this is what you do. You play 10 hours a day, you focus on, okay, getting better at these heroes and, okay, let's find my role, let's be a good teammate. Like, how do you know what is it really? And if you now chose, okay, this is what the path is gonna look like, I'm just gonna stick to it, I don't think it's gonna that path.
Yeah.
The tricky thing there is, I think some people have this, they can stay committed to the original plan, stay in the frame of this is what I set for myself. Okay, 10 hours a day, I'm gonna keep playing 80 games a week. They stick to it. And then I think they realize at some point that they're not really having fun. They're just committed to this task of becoming the world champion. And sure, they become good, but I also think they lose part of themselves in the process. And it leads to all kinds of suffering.
Do you need that part of yourself that you lose to become the world champion?
I don't think so. I don't think you become world champion by losing yourself.
Right.
I think it's the opposite. I think you're supposed to find yourself, because that is the superpower in those games where, because you're so connected with yourself and you know what you're doing and you feel good about what you're doing, in the high pressure moments, you just excel. You don't have to think how to perform. You just perform. It comes through you. You're channeling the performance. This is my understanding of it. Now think of the person who has been strictly doing it and being like, okay, this is how I play the game. They get the technicals right and they have a construct of how the game is supposed to be played. They're constantly in their conscious mind thinking about the game, how it's supposed to be played. They're very good at it. The problem with this is that when you go to high pressure moments, things are not gonna go as you think they're gonna go. They
Right.
just don't go that way.
Yeah.
Somebody is gonna be like, oh yeah, he does this thing, I'm just gonna do this against him. And now you're put in the environment where you're supposed to deal with that. Now it's like high pressure moment. Maybe you talk about this match is worth $500,000. Maybe you think about that. And you're like, oh shit, now it's time to perform. Now it's time to get it all correct. And now you're gonna think about how you do it instead of just doing it. This is such a trap, but many people think now you're gonna like think how you make it and you're gonna create a plan and you're gonna make it all happen, but it doesn't work that way when you have to perform. All kinds of things happen, they're thrown at you, and at some point, I think it's very easy to misstep when you construct this idea how it's supposed to go. And now you lose yourself, and now you try to correct it with your conscious mind. And now it's like you're just building yourself like a massive card house that's gonna keep falling, and now you're gonna think more and you're gonna think more, and soon you just can't perform anymore. You're just like gonna overthink everything.
So how do you get out of that? Or how did you get out of that? Because I feel that it's very hard. Imagine TI, World Championship, like loads of money on the line, and you have to channel. I love that word, channeling, right?
Yeah.
And then, but your brain is still overwhelmed by thousands of people watching you and all these things. How were you able to detach from that and stay in the channeling present moment?
Well, at the first place, I didn't try to think how it's gonna go. So you sort of embrace that, okay, things are gonna happen, I'm gonna figure out. And I don't think more to it, as in like, I'm gonna figure it out this way, okay, this is gonna happen, I'm gonna be prepared. Maybe you visualize something, okay, maybe this happens, whatever, but you don't put a lot of energy to that because it hasn't happened. It's not in the present moment. Now, the only way I figured out that really works, and it's not easy, is to just stay in the present moment. Sure,
Yep.
there's like, in 3 hours, somebody's gonna win this one, they have millions of money. Sure, but it's in the future. It doesn't help.
Yep.
And I think the power of how do you make the best out of this moment at any single instance is the key, and staying connected with that. And it's very hard because in those moments, there's all kinds of thoughts very easily coming to you.
Yeah.
As in like you start to think, okay, now it's going a little bit worse for us. Are we gonna lose? Like this, like when you give up to those thoughts, when you start to think about them, you logically think, okay, yeah, it looks like you're losing this game.
Yeah.
Now, how do you let that affect you?
Right.
Because if you are in the future, you started thinking about, okay, the 500K. In 3 hours, somebody's gonna earn a lot of money. Yeah, it looks like we're losing. Looks like they're gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it. And then you build a sense that you're gonna lose this game. You're like building a story.
Right.
Whereas if you don't try to build stories, you're in the moment, trusting of like, okay, I'm here, I'm deserving of this moment because somehow I'm in the finals, let's say.
Yeah.
And I got here, I'm pretty confident in what I do. At least if I'm not confident, then perhaps I should be confident. For some reason, out of all these people, you are in the finals.
Right.
So you're probably doing something right. Can you trust that you are doing things right? And can you trust that it is enough for winning the finals? So be it. If it's not, can you be okay with that as well? These are ways to accept the situation as it is, and this helps the person to be okay in the moment.
While you were talking, I had this thought that perhaps even on a neurological level, right, our brains are not really that good at doing things at the same time. And what I mean by that is, imagine you're playing a game, or in my case doing something else, and there's something happening in the game, you have a team fight, and right before somebody blinked at you, you were thinking the thought of, well, we might lose.
Yep.
And they blink, and therefore your reaction time is 0.2 seconds slower because your thought was there instead of being in the game. And therefore you misclick or mistime your reaction because literally your brain was busy with something else. You were not in the game. And I feel that in my line of work, I don't have such short reaction times. So I think in something like Dota or Formula One, it's even more important because the time of reaction is so quick, right? In things like business, you usually have more time to actually go like, I want to be in the present moment, breathe in, breathe out. I have time to breathe in, breathe out, right? In your line of work, you don't have time to breathe in, breathe out.
Yeah, at those moments, for sure. I do think there are moments for this, but the tricky thing is there are moments where you don't. And if you try to plan, and then something unexpected happens, then you're kind of fucked in a way.
Yeah.
Because I think it goes deeper to like, okay, now I'm reacting a little bit slower. Okay, I performed less than optimal that I'm supposed to. Now that is the key, is how do you perceive that? That now you were not thinking about the game. Are you okay with that? Or are you gonna blame yourself? Oh, I should have focused. You can make it much bigger for yourself. And now you're just like keep thinking with your mind. The thinking mind keeps staying in between you and the game and the present moment. Again, you're just distancing yourself from the present moment of what's actually happening.
Yeah. What is reality right now? Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so many traps in a way that will get between you and the performance. And the less you have those in between, the more you're able to being authentic and playing through your authenticity, whatever, there's many terms.
I think it's not whatever. I think that is a pretty big, important aspect.
Yeah.
Being your authentic, real self.
The words, I mean, for the words, it's whatever. I think everybody has a sense of that to some extent. What is that? But yeah, authenticity, channeling your performance through you. An artist doing a painting,
right?
He can constantly think, I'm gonna do it technically correct. This is what pleases people. This is like a smart color. It combines very well. And then I have this clear structure. Yeah, everybody's gonna like the square and the circle together. It's like nice. But then soon enough you realize, what the did I create? Where is me in this art?
Yeah.
And like people read into that.
Yeah.
And I think with art it's easy to understand. But then it's harder to understand in the performance. Okay, you lose yourself. But isn't there like an optimal way of performing? Yes, there is, but nobody's that.
Right.
So in a way, you're making the best out of yourself, performing in those situations. And I think the best comes through, at least at this time, maybe one day it's AI, whatever. But at this time, it looks to be the case for that the authentic you is able to perform at their best at those moments.
I think the word best is both true in terms of practically, like you're actually going to perform the best moves or you're going to create the best objective painting. But I think it's also true on a very deeper level. What I mean by that is that we're talking to you in a sense that you won TI 2 times, but there are people who lost TI many times. That experience of them losing might still be the best for them. In a sense that, okay, like they don't understand it right now, but maybe because of that, I don't know, they move to another country, they meet their wife and their kid, and they're like infinitely more happy than if they won.
But my wife is gonna be, I love the TI second place. They're the best husbands, they make the best husbands.
The best husbands, yes. I hope that's not gonna become a meme or anything.
Maybe, it's gonna be a thing.
But like many times in my life when I thought I failed, later I learned that was the best thing. But it's very hard to trust in the process. And I think that's what you said. It's kind of like whether you win, you lose, that doesn't matter. And I think by that, what I would mean is that trust it. Because if you're constantly seeking and actually trying to figure out what is this life, then I think it will bring you there. And some people will get there through winning. Some people will get there through losing. Because maybe they should not have played this game. Right, and it took them some time to figure that out.
Yeah.
And maybe they should be, I don't know, a coach, or maybe they should be an artist, or a musician, who knows?
Yeah.
Because for you also, like, you won the game, but now you're not actively playing, so it's a transition to something else. It's a stepping stone.
Like at the time I was winning, I already had thoughts. I think next 2 years I'm gonna be gone.
Right.
I think people could see that as like, that's gonna poorly affect your performance. Not necessarily.
Right.
But I clearly was inclining to, okay, I gotta leave at some point. It's pretty clear to me that seems to be the next direction. I don't know where, but clearly I wasn't happy the same way or authentic the same way to myself playing the game.
So did that happen before you won already?
Yeah.
The first time?
Yeah, before the first time already.
Interesting.
Yeah, the way I saw it as, okay, I have to reinvent this thing for myself. Okay, I have this esports career, this is happening. How do I approach it more the way I want to? And I started to go the direction of, okay, I'm gonna become a better teammate. I'm gonna be more like, I'm gonna focus on myself, communicating better. I'm gonna focus on myself, making things better for everybody around me. I'm gonna start to think through that rather than I'm gonna make the most beautiful art in the game. It wasn't anymore at the same level as interesting as it was before, because I think I've seen enough. It looks like it's time to move on and to move on to whatever new.
That might be also your skills and abilities allow you to see the deeper foundations of what the game actually is.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I come from a completely different background of entrepreneurship. And I feel that in the beginning, when you start your path of being an entrepreneur, you actually focus what in Dota you would call be mechanics.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what is profit, what is loss, what is a customer, how to do accounting, and if you start focusing on these elements that are on the surface level, and you go to make money, we have to make a product. So a lot of early stage entrepreneurs focus just on the product. They go like how to code it, how to make it look beautiful, how to do A/B testing, blah 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 blah. And then almost nobody goes like, well, actually it's about your team. And it's about your communication, and it's about how you feel in the team, and emotions, and the husbands and wives of the people that work, and the feelings of your customers, and all these things. And all these things are like ignored. And then later you learn, oh no, that is the core, in some sense. Like that core can, I don't know about Dota because I think it's super competitive, but in business, that core, I feel, can definitely allow you to make a lot of mistakes on a practical level. If you have a really good team in business in terms of how you organize the culture and the feelings of the team, if all of you are less than the best in terms of being able to do, I don't know, marketing, this cohesion of the team will outperform many of those who actually have better skills because they have cohesion. And actually in esports, well, not esports, but for me it was sports. I did paintball. We were one of the top teams in the Baltics.
Paintball?
Paintball. You know, running with a gun.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Oh, cool.
For a few years.
Just gonna say, like I recently started airsoft.
Yeah, very similar in some sense.
Yeah. Paintball is very competitive. Very,
competitive.
you know, this is the environment always
Super
kinda,
fast.
Yeah, super fast, and it's like a more strategic.
Yeah.
Straight from the get-go. I think airsoft is more loose.
Yeah. In my team, I was the youngest guy at the time. Now I'm probably the age that everyone else was when I played. I'm like almost 40 now. So everybody was like 40. And I was a young kid. I was 20 something.
Yep.
And all the other teams were basically young. But in my team, the other guys, one of them was a head coach of the police academy. And the other guy was from the special forces. But we were not fast. Because one of them was chubby, one of them was old, but our communication was the thing. Like the way we talked, the way we communicated, the way we trusted each other. And yes, we would lose to the young guys sometimes, but we would constantly be in the top 2, top 3. It was all about spending time together and building the communication and trust instead of focusing. I mean, you have to focus on the skills too, but that was not our strength by far.
Yeah, I catch that. And I think once you connect with the individuals on a deeper level, I think you're accessing something that many professional teams at esports or sports don't have that, because they think it as a profession. And let's say, just an example, like in League, how they hire people, it's much about hiring the top individuals and putting them all together. The cohesion is obviously not going to be there unless you have a giga luck and then you're like, oh shit, we got the nice people. Somehow they just seem to connect. In very many cases, it's just like you put the best together and you try to make the best of it. But I think there's so much to building the team chemistry around the people who actually want to be together. Initially, there's some chemistry, whatever connection, whatever people want to call it. Once you start to lean into that, I think it's so much easier to make sense of what you actually want to do together. And you have a much better understanding what are your strengths and weaknesses, just as you said. And then you can work around whatever you're not good at. You can try to work on that, or you can try to lean into your strengths more. I think very rare thing that many people experience is this. People have the experience of flow state, as in like you're individually in the flow state, you read or whatever you study, and then you get to this feeling, oh shit, this is so easy. I'm taking this text, I'm not really doing anything, I'm learning so much. Whatever, you can do this. Many things, people usually have it around hobbies the most. But I think in teams, you can have this team flow thing where everybody is in the flow, but also there's like a shared flow. Yeah. As in like, you know how your body thinks, you know how they're gonna do, and now you will complement that. And this is what I had experience with OG, winning TIs, where I just know how my teammates think and act before they even say things. And I can already make that happen in a more enhanced way. In a way, I'm already working towards something that we're gonna be making together later, but it's not clear, it's not being said, but I have a feeling that it's gonna happen. I feel like I'm connected to what we are already gonna be doing soon, and I have a sense of that. And then doing that thing together is also, there's like many things in Dota. It's a very complex game, but I think once you're able to focus on what's key, and once your teammates are able to focus on what's key, and once your teammates and you come together to think the same way, it's a very powerful tool. And you don't need to be the best at everything on individual level. I don't think our team was, for example, like mechanics-wise, similar to your paintball. But I think we just had this innate trust towards each other of putting the team in front and everybody really trying to lean into what are we doing as a team. I think I've learned a lot.
I am with you fully on this connection to the team, flow state together. I call it ego dissolution into the shared ego of the team. But do you think there are things that can be practically done to achieve that? Because I feel like a lot of people and teams lock into it, right? They just go like the right set of circumstances, right set of individuals. And I also look at esport teams, but also companies. And a lot of the time, the flow of people is very fast. In esports especially, like team members seem to change every second week. And there are other sports where teams take like a 10-year plan. Like we'll be world champions in 12 years.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there are things that can be done practically to enhance this shared flow?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the individuals matter the most, the people you choose. I think there's no way around it. Because let's say there's two people that don't go well together, and this is not getting resolved or this is not changing anything, I think you're not going to have that. It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen?
Yeah, I think so. There's no sugarcoating it in a way that this is just like, oh yeah, but we're going to have it with other people. No, because if there's just conflict between two people and they don't like each other and they don't make anything out of that, it's just in the back of everybody's minds. Yep. It's not even just those two people, it's everybody's minds.
Right.
It's just like corrupts. It's like a corruption kind of thing in a slighter sense, but it's still there. And everybody got to read the room, unless you're very dissociated of yourself, of course, but it's not going to happen because it's much about also feeling. So that's one thing. So you really want to be carefully selecting the individuals. Are they complementing each other? How are they interacting? Is it natural? Is it forced? Okay, what's going on? Because I think initially it can feel forced, but perhaps they find something and they click.
Right.
You can help them come together more. So I think it starts from there. Then I think a very crucial thing in teams is like this shared feeling of safety. I think this has to be catered around by everybody. And I think it starts very much from like, okay, do I feel comfortable like bringing my own problems into this team? Do I feel comfortable giving feedback to my teammate when I feel like he's doing something wrong? And safety is the base of this. Because if you don't feel safe, you feel like you're not able to say these things out loud. And then at some point you're gonna have a problem. As in like, you're holding this in. Oh yeah, he made this bad play 5 years ago. And now he's doing it again.
Yeah.
Just this moment. And it's like you connect them, and then you start to see the person in a bad light because why didn't he change? It's been a fucking 5 years. How can you not change,
Right.
for example? I also think that as like a corruption of the mind. In a way, you make it much worse than what it is because you had the sense that it's supposed to change, right? It's so obvious that he's gonna change in this amount of time, but no. Maybe he never even thought about it, changing it.
Yeah, never even noticed it.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
And I think if you don't get to those conversations of like, okay, this is nagging me about you, can we have a talk? And it doesn't even need to resolve as in like he's gonna change his behavior, but it's more like you just have the conversation. Maybe it's gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna change that. Now you're gonna have a new conversation. Okay, what's going on here?
I mean, if I were to add, well, actually, it's not add, it's the same thing, what you're saying. I feel that if I bring the same concept to entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship teams, what happens a lot, and I think it's exactly the same, is I feel that there is no dialogue, and I mean like real dialogue. Right?
Yeah.
Again, we always talk about the mechanics of the business. We just go like, oh, we don't make enough money, or this is a problem. I would imagine in Dota or other sports, it might be about the sport itself.
Yep.
But everybody in the room is sitting there and going like, and this is my favorite question in some sense, and I like to bring these dialogues to teams and companies and be like, what is reality? What is the reality of this team or of this situation? And by reality, I really mean every component of reality of this situation. It might have to do with, say, two people have conflict and we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? We just don't mention it. We just don't like, I know you hate him and he hates you, but we're never going to talk about it. Or a reality might be something practical. Like in my company, it was like, we are not making enough money and we just ignore it. We just hope it will go away.
Yeah.
Right? We just go like, yeah, it's okay. We'll do more later. It's fine. We go, no. We have to address the reality and be like, okay, but why is that? What is the underlying level? And if you go deep enough and have a dialogue long enough, which teams don't allow themselves to do, to speak for 6 hours straight, right?
Yeah.
This is sometimes how long it will take to get to the deeper layers. Like maybe the deeper reality is like, oh, we don't have enough money because, I don't know, two co-founders have a deep inner conflict between each other. And everybody knows it. Maybe one is jealous, maybe something else is happening, but we're not addressing it. And that's actually why we're not making enough money or we're not successful.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know, I would imagine in Dota, maybe there's a conflict within, not even between team players, but maybe at a management level.
Yeah.
And that might be affecting
Most certainly.
the whole organization.
That's actually a lot of cases. It's like the players actually don't argue together, they argue with the organization. Because the organization has so different interests than the player, usually. There's something, and they don't like match. And then it's like, yeah, you want me to do social media 5 hours a week, but I'm a professional player. I need every single hour to my video game. Like,
Right.
how do I? But they keep pulling you with the 5 hours, and then you keep being not okay with it, and you just sustain, but you also have a problem with it. So it's like not being discussed.
Man, that reminds me of like parenting. It's kind of like off topic,
Yeah.
but I see that all the time. My feeling is that parents, and the metaphor for this is they say the management organization is a parent, and kids, in this case players, but parents and kids, like
It's kind of the same.
it's
by the way.
very similar. I look at people on the streets, like we're walking now, and I see parents and kids, and I'm going like, parents, your only job in the whole life is to be on the side of the kid. That's your only job. Not against them, be on their side all the time. When they scream at you, when they're unhappy, you can tell them kindly why, they should do something, but you should remain on their side all the time. That's your only job. And I feel that's the same with companies. If you're a CEO, your only job is to be on the side of both clients and your employees. But you're not. You're on the side of money making and investors most of the time.
And that's very good that you say that. And I think there is like subtleties to this because I think organizations think they're on the player side because we're getting all these sponsors because you're doing social media and now we're getting money. There's so much to argue that my actions, how I see them, is the best of yours. Now, the problem is if the other person doesn't feel that way, then you have a problem, because like clearly you do something and you think it's the better of them, and from the other person's perspective, it's not that.
Well, and that's exactly with parents, right? They go like,
Yeah,
"Wow, but I
yeah.
paid for your university,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like I gave you, I sacrificed all my life. I didn't go to the job I love." And you go like, "Mom, if you went to the job you love and didn't pay for my university, I'd be happier, because I'd feel your happiness
Yeah.
and joy. That's the best thing for me." And I would imagine like with teams, it's the same. It's not a practical thing that you do. It's
Yeah.
when I say that you have to be on their side, I mean emotionally.
Yeah.
Like with
I think so.
feelings.
Yeah.
Not with practical, oh, I got you money, I got you sponsors thing.
It's very rarely the actions, because I think with the actions, there's always something you can discuss. And I think in a team, it's unlikely, if you're really caring for the other and you really truly are doing what you think is the best of both of you and the team, then your actions will very likely follow that. It's not always the case, but very often it's the case. And I think as long as you are able to share that feeling with them, that this is what you think is the best of your interest and you're doing it things because you really care, if your actions match that and other people notice that and they feel that you care, and you also like you're doing it, that creates the, okay, I can actually trust this guy.
Right.
Now it's like, okay, the safety is there. Now, maybe when they receive that from you, now they're like, oh yeah, I can do the same. That's okay.
Somebody has to start.
Usually, yeah. And often the case in teams, in sports, esports, somebody has a better understanding of how this works. Like they have a better emotional understanding,
Yeah.
better emotional skills, whatever, communication skills. And they have to be there first, in a way, to set the standards for the others. Then it's easy to follow when somebody sets the culture to be this. It's much easier. Setting the culture is the hardest, I think. Because the person who knows how it's supposed to be done, they don't get this reinforcement from others.
Yeah.
It's difficult again. But you can still do it. But it still stops you. If you really believe in it, why does it matter how other people think?
Yeah.
Because if you're the example, you just do it, you believe in it, connection is good, I think it's going to build trust and safety between us. You're going to get conversations going. Seems to be working that way. Why not just do it anyways, even though there's resistance? And then I think once people are under the influence of that, they can also understand it. We talked about how can we cooperate, how can we get the connection going between the individuals. I think it's the individuals, but also like, can we maintain this? It's like,
Right.
okay, we did it once, can we maintain this?
Yeah.
Can we keep this on the background? This is like where it's supposed to loop.
I feel that there are things you can do to loop it. I know you're working with helping individuals and teams, and I think that's one of the things, is like having somebody external. But I also feel that there are like practical things, like I introduced the teams concept of dialogue and breaking them out of a comfort zone. Like guys, you always have meetings with a table and chairs. We're gonna sit down in a circle, drink tea,
Yeah.
right? And we'll talk. Right? They go like, what? Board meeting with tea and on the floor? And I'm like, yeah, man. And then they go like, no, I'm like from X big company.
Yeah.
You know,
what,
I have to
what
have
the fuck you doing?
I have to have
It's
a
a waste
suit.
of time.
I'm like, no, tomorrow, no suits. Everybody come in like the most comfortable clothes you can find. We're gonna sit down, have tea. I told you I have this place on the island in Estonia. I want people to completely detach from reality. And I think actually detaching from reality in a practical sense helps people to reconnect to their true selves and put them in a different environment. And I think that helps. I think it's very important to ask yourself the question, what is reality and why are we doing certain things? Like in the startup world, everybody has a 10-minute stand-up every morning where everybody shares what they do. And most people hate it. And nobody goes like, why are we doing it? Literally everybody hates it. And nobody goes like, hey, sorry, I hate this. Let's not do it.
Yeah.
And I think if you as a team create your own ritual and you look for it and everybody likes it, then it becomes a real stand-up. There's nothing wrong with having every day a catch-up session. I think it's very useful.
Yep.
But you need to find one that works for your specific team and organization, because Maybe you need to do it differently. Maybe you need to do it funny.
Yeah.
Like in your way, not my way.
Yeah.
Like in my company, I would have tea every morning, but some people hate tea, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't hire them.
Absolutely, yeah. Makes a lot of sense. I think catered around the people and what they feel like is the best for them is very important. I also think that it's important to follow that somebody's like, I think this is a waste of time. And what are we doing? Can we just use 10 minutes to our work? Looks like we're more efficient that way.
Yeah.
And then, okay, there may be something there. Maybe the person is just frustrated because it's like, it's 10 minutes and somebody's maybe just keeps talking and there's nothing for them in that.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's some other thing. It's not necessarily because it's 10 minutes and it's always in the morning. It's maybe something in the 10 minutes that's bothering him.
Right.
And can we get to the reality? As in like, what is the thing nagging him really? Is it the 10 minutes of being wasted? Okay, why are we feeling it's wasted? What's the thing that's making it feel like it's wasted time? Because it's probably good to think about, okay, what are you gonna do?
Did you guys do something like that in OG?
We did debriefing. We didn't do it in the beginning of the day, as in like what we're gonna do. Sometimes we did talk, okay, what are the things we wanna be focusing on in the upcoming days? And set that for ourselves, but we didn't necessarily always follow that. But at least we had a conversation about what's gonna be probably following these days. But the debriefing part was after the day. Sometimes we were better at this, sometimes worse. We were very into trying to talk through of what happened today. It's like very simple. What are the good things? What are the bad things? What do I think should be worked on next? What do I think we should be doing less? Whatever. Be able to frame the questions a little bit differently. People would make things out of it, as in like how they wanted to interact in the debrief. The main thing was that we have this space where you can share what you want, whatever you're feeling. Okay, it was a shit day. Dude, I think we just wasted time today. That's how you're feeling. You can share that. And then maybe there is sometimes you go deeper into that. Like you can ask, how did you come up feeling that way? What do you think was going on? If you have this debrief in the end of the day, I think it also teaches you that it's not that you can only talk those things after the games, but now you have the same time slot. You can pile up things throughout the day. You don't have to share them immediately. Or you can also be like, oh yeah, I don't actually feel like waiting till the debrief. I'm gonna say it before. Because maybe we're gonna talk about the debrief also when I mention it now, but now I feel like it's relevant. And I think that was very helpful because you can decompress with that. And some individuals for us benefited much more than others. Some were more participants. They're just more to take in, more than to share. Some people were more sharing, but then at some times, the people who were usually just there to listen and maybe share a little bit, not much, they sometimes had the day where they were like, dude, this fucking sucked.
Yeah.
And then they like appreciate that we had it so many times.
Was it like a practical setup? Like you all do it in a circle?
Yeah.
One by one?
In a table, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a circle. Somebody started in the lead, and then it's your turn. What do you think? What do you think of today? How did it go? What was good about it?
We used to do one where it's called a clearing. And it's very simple. You kind of go in a team and you do two circles. And you do one, what's not working for you today.
Yeah.
And you do one more circle, what is working for you today. And you end on the positive. Sometimes you discuss afterwards, sometimes you don't. I feel like what I would love to get to is to have that, but to have a structure, but at the same time let it happen naturally. Because sometimes you go like, I don't want to have a debrief, or I don't want to have this clearing thing. Oh, it's like every Thursday at 12. And you're like, oh man, like this Thursday, I just don't feel like it, man. I wish we as a society would be conscious enough to also be honest about needs and changes and like authenticity. And I think it's all about talking and being able to say, guys, we've done debrief 112 times in a row. I'm tired of it. Let's try it in the morning, or let's try a new system. I can't do it anymore. It's become repetitive, and the life energy of the intent is dead. This event does not deliver
The same
anymore.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Because constantly every evening at the same time, we had that at times. And I think if it was really tough day, we would be like, okay guys, I think everybody has a lot to share today. Do you guys feel like we can push through today going through the debrief, or do you think it's too heavy? Okay, if we don't do it today, can we try to a little bit think of those things that we wanted to share today and maybe go through it tomorrow. It's been rough, and maybe when it's a very bad day and now you're supposed to decompress all that, but maybe not today. And that happened once in a while. And I think it's also very good to not feel guilty of that. Oh yeah, we failed because we didn't do it.
Yeah.
It's like, can you be accepting of that? That just happens. That sometimes things don't go as you plan, and change what you're normally supposed to do into, okay, what do I need today? What do I want to get done today? Because I think that keeps changing. And if you don't change, if you don't go with the change, I think you're building a harder future. I think you are dismantling what you truly are. You're not listening to that. In teams, it's hard because you also have to be, some cases, as in like, okay, somebody doesn't want to do the debriefing. You go into the conversation and you feel like, yeah, I don't feel like it. And then you're like, dude, okay, here's the reason why we're doing the debriefing. And I'm not really hearing that there's a real problem here. Can we still do it anyways? Because sometimes you have to also have the conversation of like, you don't get to just out yourself because you feel like it. If you feel a little bit you don't feel like doing it, can you still push through a little bit today? You don't have to share so much. You don't have to do so much. Can you just be there? Because there's other people who care about this.
Sometimes it's crucial, especially on the hard days. We actually do this clearing thing I told you about with my family, with my wife and my 5-year-old kid every day.
Oh, okay.
Every night before going to bed, we do this little circle, but then sometimes we don't do it.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I feel like when traveling, for instance, sometimes it's hard. And actually our kid is the biggest fan. Sometimes me and my wife were tired, and he just goes like, clearing. Who are we raising here, man? And he goes like, no, we're doing clearing. And we're like, we're too tired. He's like, one word each. But
nice.
but sometimes I feel
so
like
cool.
It is. We started from really early on. I think it was 2. But sometimes we skip it. But I really know, like what you said, like sometimes I don't know, like maybe we had a fight during the day.
Yeah.
And I feel like now is the most important thing to actually do it. We both don't want to do it. But I go like, if this was purpose for anything, it's this day.
Yeah.
Because this is the chance to like, let it out and start a new day tomorrow. So I think this feeling, like I said before, it's not about like, if you just don't want to do it, that's a good reason to do it. But if you don't want to do it because you feel that the purpose of the thing is no longer there, or it's not going to work today for another reason, I think there might be a valuable reason not to do it. But what is your feeling for today? What do you want to do today?
Wait,
right now? Like right now?
I don't really know. I like this open flow of conversation. I think I want to pee soon. I've been looking which place I got to pee. I think enjoying the summer weather and just looking around is also nice. I'm having a good time.
I feel...
in a way, like I don't need much right now.
I have a feeling for conversations. And I feel that it is also important in a group and in 2 people to also feel your energies. I feel like we've been talking for, I don't know, 1.5 hours maybe now. I don't know, I'm guessing. And I'm also trying to feel like, to me, the conversation is already coming to a closing stages.
Yeah, maybe.
But one thing I also wanted to say is, like you just said, I want to pee. And I think, like, when talking to people, even this can be important to say.
Yeah,
Like,
I think so.
Like to even share your feelings. I went to a banana conference last week. It's a conference in Estonia, really cool people. And there was a group sharing. We did the tea ceremony and we had a group sharing. And then there was one guy from Germany. He was sharing. Basically, he shared like every single internal feeling that he had in the moment. Like his fears, his body sensations, the status of his stomach, like everything. It completely changed the energy in the room. Because everybody was like, whoa, this guy just shared everything. All his fears about talking, all his desires. And I was like, my God, that is so cool. I love to actually start meetings with a question, what's your state of being? Or what is it like to be you?
Okay.
And I like to ask that question
I like
because
that question. That's a good one.
then people really go like, whoa, what did you ask me?
Yeah.
But then when they answer, you connect immediately. And it changes every day. Like every time I ask a completely new person, new senses, new beings.
Yeah, I like that question. I certainly think it's very powerful to share your inner state. And I think people know if you're honest about it. And I think they read into, okay, now he's really telling how he's feeling.
Yep.
And that discharges of this needing to be something. I think people feel that, okay, this guy is sharing all this and he's really taking a step towards trusting us with it.
Yeah.
And now you feel more involved. Now you're more understanding of, hey, this is what the person is going through. And you can also take some of that, the energy that he's sharing. Okay, he's having a bad day. Can I be compassionate towards him?
Right.
Okay, he's nervous talking. Can I resonate with that feeling that he's nervous? Maybe I would be too. How would I want the crowd to be like? Okay, I'm gonna be that encouraging, focused, attentive. And I think it's very powerful for the person itself, but also for everybody else too. Because now you're in this together. This is how he is right now. How can I make the best of myself? We're gonna listen to this guy or help him.
Yeah, it's important to know.
Maybe there is relevancy. Okay, maybe I wasn't focused the same way.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't affect me. Who knows? But I think for me, it's about, I understand that when I share that, I relieve myself from needing to keep it just to myself. And maybe I feel like it might mean something. As in like, okay, I'm tired. Maybe you're gonna notice it.
Right.
Maybe you're gonna think I'm less interesting. Maybe the recording is gonna be like total failure. But once you share it,
It goes away.
yeah,
Yeah, it's very powerful.
yeah.
I think people are afraid to share.
And the same works for positive things too. When you're really having a good feeling, it doesn't go away when you share it. You enhance the moment that you share the same energy.
Yeah.
And now everybody can grasp of like, oh, yesterday's feeling good.
Yeah.
Dude, like, holy shit, look at this energy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm getting it also.
Yeah.
Dude, I think we're gonna have a good time.
And I think we both did that in the morning. Like you shared, like, hey, I didn't sleep enough today, and I surprisingly feel energetic. Maybe
Yeah.
we balance each other out a little bit.
Yeah.
I really loved our talk and our walk. We walked through like some of the most beautiful parts of Helsinki, with lakes and trees and people and birds.
Yeah, it was a nice area. The place where I said, do we have the time to go here? It's called Lammassaari.
Yeah.
It's called Sheep Island, English.
Yeah.
So there is sheep sometimes there,
Oh,
or
wow. Yeah.
at least most days. And you can go there and pet them. But it can sometimes take a little bit of time, and there's usually a lot of people. Probably not at this tower, but I was just considering. It's worth going there again, just to go there and go to that sheep island
Go touch some sheep.
and have a picnic.
Well,
Cool.
thank you for doing this.
I just noticed. It's
Yeah,
fucking
it's
everywhere.
beautiful, right?
Yeah.
It's like snow.
Yeah, it feels like snow, but it's going up.
Yeah. If anybody listens to this, they'll be like, what on earth are they talking about?
What are those called? I don't remember the English name.
Me neither. It's dandelion? That's dandelion.
Dandelion, yeah,
That's
yeah,
dandelion.
yeah. I think it's dandelion, isn't it?
I don't know, maybe.
I think so because
That was a
all
lot
of
of them.
those don't have it anymore.
That was a lot of them then. So like hundreds of dandelion particles flying up into the air. That's beautiful.
Floating forever.
All right, well, thank you for the conversation. This might be the place where I'll call it a day and cut it in terms of recording.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling it also out loud because
yeah.
I had a sense of that. You know, there's like a shift, that there's like a moving forward, and that the conversation seems to be going to a closing.
Like a natural closing. What I find interesting is that a conversation is a type of happening. It has a start, it has a middle, and it has an end. And whenever you honestly, deeply engage with somebody, it always has that.
Yeah,
It always has this
I think so. Yeah.
feeling thing, and at some point, you just go, "Whew, it's done."
My experience mostly is like, because if you keep going,
Yeah.
you feel this subtle like awkwardness.
Awkwardness. And then that's why I go like, yeah, when it's done, it's done. That was a lot of fun. I think we covered a lot of cool topics. And
I had a good time.
And I like it when it's not planned and stuff, and you just talk about whatever comes.
Yeah, me too.
I hope you thoroughly enjoyed our conversation and our walk in the forest of Finland. And now I invite you to sit down and give yourself a few minutes of complete silence. And the goal of this part of the podcast is to internalize what you just witnessed. So, let's settle in now. If you're listening, sit comfortably. Let your spine lift, shoulders soften. Close your eyes or soften the gaze. Breathe in deeply and out fully. Bring awareness to your body and the points of contact that you have on the ground. And now, just for a few minutes, try to see what this podcast brings out in you. Let the thoughts and ideas come as you simply observe your breath. Ask yourself, what is in you that drives you the most to act? What is your inner compass or intrinsic motivation that Jerax had? What is it in your life that you would be willing to do, even if you will never be paid for it? Now, turn your attention to how you interact with other people, how you work in teams. Are you able to speak the truth to reach to the highest peak of performance? Does your team resonate together? And if not, why not? If anything else arises as a result of this episode, let it come, observe it. But now I ask you to turn your attention to what action are you going to take as a result of listening to this podcast and meditating with me today, tomorrow, in the next few weeks? What small change are you willing to do to your daily life to try to resonate a little bit better with yourself, with your inner compass, and with other people? Gently bring your attention back to reality. Wiggle your fingers and toes. When you feel ready, open your eyes. If you still have some tea left, this is a good time to drink it. Take a piece of paper, as we talked about in episode 1, it's good to have with you, and write down what you're going to do and see if that's going to help you. Thank you for listening to episode 2. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm always happy to receive feedback, questions, comments, requests. So do reach out. We are just starting out, so I'm very, very available. I'd love to help you with anything that I can. And over and out. See you in the next episode.